MrBeast, he's the most subscribed YouTuber in the world, and his videos regularly receive hundreds of millions of views. So how MrBeast, his real name is Jimmy Donaldson, masters the YouTube algorithm is actually a trade secret, but that secret is now allegedly at risk in a new lawsuit. So here to explain it all is our Queen City News chief legal analyst, Khalif Rhodes. Khalif, so this case right here, it takes place in North Carolina, and it involves a former IT contractor. So what are they actually accusing him of doing?
Theft, breach of contract, a number of illegal things that they're saying that this employee, or I should say contractor, then turned employee, then turned former employee, they're alleging he did a number of things. He was going in and had their IT and had complete control of their network, and he was backing up their network, or he alleged he was backing up their network and said this was something that was routine. What they found out that it was anything but routine is what they allege in their complaint. Additionally, they say that not only was he backing it up to some manual device, he was backing it up to some personal cloud device that he had as well. And so both of those things they took problem with. The other thing is that they said he maintained cameras inside the facility even after he was gone that he still had access to. So again, there are a number of complaints, but specifically regarding the taking of documentation, the taking of trade secrets, there was a non-disclosure agreement, a non-compete agreement that he signed. Originally, they listed it as an attachment to their complaint, and they said, look, he knew that he had an opportunity, I should say a requirement, to give these documents back when asked. They listed that a number of times in their complaint, and they say to this day, at the time of filing, they still haven't received it back.
All right, so there's a lot to unpack there with what you just kind of laid out for us. He mentioned that he's accused of installing these hidden cameras. All right, let's start there. So the IT worker says that it's also standard company procedure since he was a subcontractor, which you also mentioned. How does that play out with this case?
Well, he transitioned. He went from subcontractor to permanent employee. So the allegations at the time where he was a permanent employee, they're just saying his timeline doesn't match up. The fact that he said he was backing up the hard drive to make sure that it was some routine sweep and that he cleared it before he was terminated. They said if they look back at the tape working backwards that he started deleting things prior to being terminated. Why did he do that? Because as he said in his exit interview, I knew that the writing was on the wall. I knew you guys were going to terminate me. So I was already backing up these files, and these files are important. What MrBeast does with his program is pretty straightforward. He increases and tries to go viral with these videos. Him going viral gets him other ad space with other companies. Right. Well, the more ads that he can get, the larger, the more viral he can go. And so it's, as they say in their complaint, is a revolving, never-ending cycle. Well, that is proprietary. That is algorithmic in nature. And they're saying because this individual has taken these documents, it's going to hurt the business. And so they're asking for a preliminary injunction, declaratory judgment, having the judge say, make this individual stop down, having access to the documents, and to give us back whatever he's taken instantly.
All right. So in terms of the legality of the hidden cameras, I mean, if you can talk about that, and if it is legal to be able to have that, who actually owns that material? Because if he's saying, hey, I saw the writing on the wall, I know you're going to get rid of me, and I start, backing up all the stuff that I have, what are his rights to be able to have evidence and receipts to bring to the table versus, hey, this is illegal?
Yeah, I don't think that he was doing the cameras to cover his butt. A number of times within the complaint, they say that he was known to record meetings, right? And that was something that they knew there. I think these are cameras that they just were there, just hiding and just because they said we never installed these cameras. We didn't ask for these cameras to be installed. And that's really not even the teeth or the meat of their argument. It's the breach of contract. It's the breach of your non-disclosure agreement. It's the breach of your non-compete. It's it's not doing your job into taking the proprietary information. That's probably going to be the muster. That invasion of privacy, that having cameras in that workplace is probably the least of the concerns. These other ones are the documents that they need back instantly.
All right, you talked about NDA. Explain that, the non-disclosure agreement and how that.
Yeah, I mean, as they say in their complaint, any employee that signs on with this company, because the nature of their business is extremely secretive, extremely algorithmic, they want to ensure that none of the documentation, none of the platforms, none of these things that they've used to create him as the #1 person on YouTube, the #3 on TikTok, if he's at that height of fame, he wants to ensure that that's protected. So anybody that's brought in, they list it. They got to have a password, username that's standard in any company. But then they're saying they're screening off employees, so only individual employees can have access to this secret information. Well, the problem with this employee is he had access to all the information. So that was problematic, and they probably have now figured out ways to screen off everyone that can, so you won't have access to the whole ship. But what I can say is, if these allegations are true, this individual will have to turn these documents over because the non-disclosure and the non-compete will stop you from taking company proprietary data.
Right. Khalif Rhodes, we appreciate your insight as always. Thanks.